Now, centuries ago in the Middle East, when one incurred a debt, an official certificate of debt was drafted so that the parties involved would not forget the amount payable. Those who were unable to pay their debts were considered criminals under the full penalty of the law. In the same way, the Bible teaches us that on the moral ledger, our sin incurs a debt. There's a price to be paid. We are faced with a law the Bible calls
the law of sin and death.
That law says,
"The soul who sins shall die."
Now what the Bible is saying here is this: we have a certificate of debt, and our debt can only be paid with death. It can only be paid with death. Now the question remains, are we able to pay that debt? And the answer is kind of a qualified yes. Yeah, we can pay it. But since that debt exists for eternity, it's hard to call it paid because the transaction is never completed. Now, to pay it, we must bear the full consequences of death in all its three-part meaning. That's physical death, that's death of the relationship, and that's that second death, that death to all future joy. And frankly, most thinking people find themselves very reluctant to pay. But the problem is this: we must pay. It's our debt. So mankind is in a very real dilemma. Now, this dilemma has two facets. It's like the opposite sides of the same coin. And I have a coin here that I've made up to kind of help illustrate this. What we have is this: we have something we don't want, which is a sin problem, and we need something that we don't have, which is perfection. Now let me go over that again. We have something we don't want, which is the sin problem, and because of our sin, we experience guilt, we experience shame, we experience pain, we're separated from God, and eventually and ultimately we face that second death. So we have something we don't want, but we also need something we don't have, which is perfection. We need a level of goodness that makes us acceptable in God's presence. So the question is twofold. How can we get rid of our sin problem? And how can we gain a perfection? How can we gain a righteousness that is equal to God's righteousness so that we can be accepted in His presence? Let me say that again. How can we get rid of our sin, and how can we gain a perfection, a righteousness that is equal to God's righteousness so that we can be accepted in His presence?